Hello and welcome to another G Auto Repair YouTube video. Today we're going to be servicing the transmission fluid on this 2019 Chevy Express 3500, and the fluid looks kind of nasty, so it only has 60,000 miles on the clock, but we're gonna go ahead and service this because we want to keep it running tip-top. So I'll just give you a quick look at what the condition of the oil looks like here, just so you guys can see. Hopefully you can see this on the camera. It looks pretty nasty. Let me put a light on it so you guys can see. Oh, my light is right here. You see, it's like a dark brown. So not sure what the service interval, oh, I shouldn't have thrown that there. Not sure what the service interval that Chevy wants to follow on this particular model. Nowadays they want you to wait forever and a day to change the fluids, or mostly over 100K. I don't like going by that, because by the time you get to 100K, trust me, that fluid is nasty. If this fluid looks nasty at 60, imagine what it's going to look like at 100. And again, I don't know off the top of my head. Maybe I'll just find that out when Chevy wants you to do it, and I'll post it there on the video, just so you guys can see what they want you to do. It might be 45, it might be 50. I'm not sure, but it's at 60, so we're gonna do it. So this one doesn't have a dipstick hole, tube, I should say. So the oil level is right here. Let me get you guys a close up. Right here, this plug right here, that is the oil level plug. So you would remove that, obviously with the engine running, to get the proper level. So I just wanted to make a quick video on how I would service these, because they don't have a drain plug either. So you have to either drop the pan to service it or find some other means. Now the fill plug is up here in this corner on the passenger side. May be a little difficult to see, but see where my finger is, there's actually a hole there. There's a rubber plug that goes there. I'm gonna show you here, and it's hidden by this heat shield. So what I did is I removed the 10mm bolt here, push this aside, so you can get a little tool to just pop that rubber plug out, and I'll show it to you right now. This is the plug that's there. That's where you fill the transmission. There's two methods of doing it, of filling this transmission, either through here, or there's an adapter that you can screw onto here and fill it up that way. So I don't have that adapter, don't care to have it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drain this without having to drop this transmission pan. I don't want to fool with the gasket. I don't want to fool with anything. Eventually I will, once it gets to higher mileage, I will drop it to change the filter and clean it out and all that. But right now we just want to do a drain and fill, just to prolong the life of this oil and transmission. As I mentioned, as that mileage gets higher, then yes, we will drop this. And technically you could drop it and service it now. That's not a big deal, but I just want to go ahead and service the fluid for right now. So I've removed this, and what I'll be using is, I'll have to get my camera. Let me show you guys the other tool that I'll be using. And this I purchased from Harbor Freight, and it's gonna be this fluid extractor. And basically you just hook up shop air to it, turn on the valve, and it'll suck whatever fluid you're trying to recover, and it will dump it into this green container. So it's got various diameter and type of hoses. These are just some that I've purchased on the side to service the ones that do have the dipstick. It's kind of really long, it's a long reach, so I've bought some extra hose so I can get deeper in there and suck it up. So what I'll be using for this particular service is this thin one here, the 1/4 inch. I tried using the thicker one, but I couldn't get deep enough into the pan. I guess there's a couple of little curves there, humps that I gotta get over, and I can get a lot deeper with this, so to make sure that I get as much of the fluid as possible, if not all of it. Now you're not gonna get all of it from the transmission, because obviously you have more fluid into the torque converter and stuff like that. This is not a flush where you hook up a machine and it sucks it through the cooler lines. It'll suck and put back on. I do not have that machine. So this is the next best thing. We're just gonna go ahead and do a drain and fill, and you could do this multiple times to get as much of it as possible out of the transmission. Even if you do a flush, you're not gonna get 100%. I don't care what the machine manufacturer say, I don't care what anybody says, you will not get 100% of the fluid out of this transmission, no matter what method you do, unless you bring down the transmission, you tear it apart, and you wash everything inside. Because as you dump fresh fluid in there, it's gonna mix with the old fluid, and you will never get 100% of it. You could get a higher percentage using those machines, but it's never gonna be 100. I've used them before. I know what I'm talking about. You may disagree. That's fine. We'll agree to disagree. But you will never get 100% off of it. And also depends on the transmission and how much fluid it's got. Most services will cover up to, I don't know, 12, 14 quarts, 15 quarts, I don't know, whatever it may be. You may have to do multiple applications if you really want to get as much as that old fluid as possible. But it gets expensive. Most people aren't going to go for it. Most shops aren't even going to try to sell it. They sell you, oh yeah, we'll charge you 300 bucks and it'll be brand new 0 meter. Maybe not, it depends. But anyways, I digress. That's not what this video is about. This video is just about how to get this done as quick as possible. So anyways, I'm gonna get this hose and I'm gonna come up from the top here just so I can get a better angle and just shove it in the hole there. There's a little bit of resistance, so there, I think that should be good right there, and we're in. So now we're gonna go and hook up the, let me give you a better look here so you guys can see with the light. You can see the hose going in there, you know, so it's in there. Take it out. Now you want to be careful not to get the line to curl up in there, and then you'll just be sucking up air. So just make sure it reaches at least to the bottom of the pan. If it curves out a little bit, that's not a problem, but you don't want it to kind of coil and then you're just sucking up air in there. So we're gonna see how this is gonna go. Let me go ahead and get this machine ready. Okay, so here I have the other end of the actual tool. I'm gonna stick it in here. There's just a seal here, and I'm gonna open the valve and it should start sucking it up. As you can see, there it is. It's being sucked up. So we're gonna do this until we've sucked as much of the fluid off the bottom of the pan as possible. So it seems to be working relatively well, and we're gonna continue this until we are done. All right, so just to give you a look, see how this is out here. I got my shop air coming in. Here's my vacuum, and here's the hose going up to the adapter with the plastic line. It's still sucking up bad dark fluid, and hopefully here soon you will see this start going to go up. That means that the old fluid is getting in there, and it'll start going up. There should be at least, you know, maybe 7 or 8 quarts of fluid in here, at least. Maybe more. I'm not 100% sure, but the spec said it was 11 or 12 quarts. I don't think there's 12 quarts in that oil pan. I don't think so. we'll see. We'll see how much I get out of it. That'll be a gauge of how good this is gonna go. So again, you're not gonna get 100% all the oil out, but you'll get a good percentage to where you can at least prolong the life of the fluid and the transmission. So we're gonna go back down here for now. All right, let's give you guys a better look here, and you can see the line going up there behind the heat shield. So we're gonna wait till this is done. This may take a few more minutes. I wanted to use a thicker hose so it could do it faster, but I can wait a little longer. It's not a big problem. So we'll oh wait, that's it. It's starting to suck up air. As you can see that the hose is shaking because it's sucking up air. So let's reposition a little bit here. Okay, I'm just gonna move the hose. See how it's sucking up more air? I'm sorry, not more air, but more fluid. So I just had to reposition it because the level went below the suction end of the line. So we're gonna leave it there until it starts sucking up air again, which is right now. And we're gonna keep doing this. See? Until we get all the oil out. Okay, so we're sucking up air. So we're gonna go in and out. Just to make sure that we don't have some oil. Try to get it as deep to the back of the pan as possible. I do have the vehicle jacked up a little bit, so it's not 100% level, so there may be a little bit still pulled back here, but that's okay. Like I said, we're not gonna be able to get it 100% no matter what we do. I think that's it. We got it all, at least all that I can reach with this hose from the pan. So we should have gotten at least anywhere from 4 to 6, 7 quarts of oil, hopefully, out of the pan. Let's see if we got some. Let's go ahead and close this valve for now. Let's see if we got. Oops. Alright, so we're not measuring nothing here. Oh, there it is. Wonder how many quarts that is. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drain this to get a better idea of how many quarts of oil came out, to see how good this service is going to be. If not, I may just have to do it a second time, run it for a little bit, and then do it a second time. So we're going to go ahead and empty this out in an oil pan and see how many quarts. Stay tuned. All right, so I got this jug here. This is for fresh oil, but that's okay. I'll clean it out afterwards. At least it'll give us a good measurement and a see-through container. All right, let me remove all this mumbo jumbo out of the way, and I'll just pour it in there. So as you can see, yeah, it's gotten quite a bit out. 5.5 quarts. So what I will do is I'm gonna go ahead and top that off. I'm gonna show you guys how to do it, and maybe even do it a second time. No big deal. So it's gonna mix again. It's gonna mix with the fresh oil. The flush machine does this, the exact same thing. You pull some out, you push some in, but once it's in the transmission, it's gonna just mix with the oil anyway. So we're gonna go ahead and do this, top it off. I'm gonna show you guys how I top this off. But as you can see, there's 5.5 quarts, so I'm just gonna dump another 5.5 quarts in there, run it for a little bit, let it circulate, and then we're gonna go ahead and maybe drain it again. So stay tuned. Here, just to give you an idea of how dark this is. It's a little difficult to appreciate on camera, but as you can see, it is pretty filthy. So we're gonna see how the condition of this improves as we go along. So let me get my my thing to top it off ready, and I'll be back with you. All right, so here we are with my filling tool, and as you can see, this is just a regular garden sprayer I purchased from Harbor Freight as well. And I do have a video on this if you're interested. It's nothing to it. You just use the garden sprayer, make your own little attachments here, and you have a little fill pump for most of these ATFs with no whatchamacallit. So as you can see here, I got fresh fluid there. Now don't worry about this mess right here. I got a little rag, I'm gonna wipe it up. I just did that to show you guys I got fresh fluid. So I got this pumped up, and it's got about 4.25 quarts in here. So not quite 5, but that's okay. We're just gonna do this. Oop, hold on, I'm losing pressure here somewhere. Where? Oh, right here, the connection. Yeah, this hose has gotten stiff over the years, so I gotta do something about that. Let's push this in. And all we're gonna do is, hold on, give me a minute. We're just gonna do the reverse order. The reverse order. We're just gonna remove this hose, and we're gonna put the hook here in the hole, and we're gonna squeeze and just let the fluid go in there. As you can see, it's a little dark. There we go. And just let it fill up with the whole it's kind of hard to maneuver around here. As you can see here, the level's going down, so we know the fluid is going in. I'll probably have to pump it a little bit because it will lose pressure. I'm gonna have to change this this hose here, because that one has seen better days, and apparently I've developed a small leak here, so I gotta correct that so I won't lose pressure. But it's going down, so we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing to top it off, and then we'll come back. Alright, so we're back. I went ahead and turned on the truck for a little bit. I went through all the gears, reverse, neutral, drive, you know, one at a time, pausing in between. I did that several times to make sure that the fluid works through as many circuits as possible. So now we're ready to recover that fluid again. And I've already hooked up my air. We got good vacuum. So we're gonna turn this on again. Oh man. Yeah, we're gonna have to do this again. Well, now the catalytic converter is hot. So what happened was it got close and it melted a hole through my hose, as you can see here. So that's a bummer. No big deal. I got plenty of hose. It just sucks that now we have a minor hiccup. So let me just cut this bad end real quick. There we go. And I'll have to be down here to make sure that it doesn't happen again. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this off camera since I already showed you guys how to do it, and we'll come back soon. All right, so I went ahead and drained it again. Let's see how much and how bad the fluid looks now. Probably not gonna be as much as the last time, but it should be a 4 1/4 at least. Yeah, almost 5, so we're good. All right, so got about 5 quarts. So there you have it. Now it still looks dark. Obviously, like I said, it will mix with the old oil, but there's a bit more of a red tint to it. So as you can see, it does look a little redder, but it's still dark. So if you wanted to, you could do this as many times as possible until you get the desired results. There we go. Nice. But believe me, it's gonna take a lot and a lot and a lot of fluid to get it to its original cherry red state. Trust me, they will like to sell the service. Oh, it's gonna look like factory. Yeah, that's not always the case. Sometimes, not always. Like I said, it depends on the transmission and how many quarts and all that. So now I'm just gonna fill her back up with another 5 1/2 quarts of new fluid. By the way, I am using Valvoline Max Life, which is the compatible for the Mercon according to their catalog. The original fluid is Mercon HP or something like that, and I looked up at the catalog beforehand, and Max Life, Valvoline Max Life is the compatible synthetic fluid for Mercon HP. HP or whatever it was. HP, I believe, is what I saw. So I'm just gonna go get my jug, fill her up, and top her off, and then I'll show you the final step here shortly when I get ready. All right, so we've topped off the transmission. I brought it down a little bit so it could be closer to level, and it's at operating temperature. So now we're gonna do the final check. I haven't put the plug or anything back on just in case I do have to add a little bit more, but we're gonna do the final level check. Here's the level plug right here, and all we're gonna do is, with the transmission running, we're gonna go ahead and loosen this, and we're gonna see if anything of it come out. If it does, we're just gonna let it kind of ooze a little bit. It should be dripping out only. As you can see, the fluid is looking a lot redder now. I don't know if you can see it on the video, but it does look redder now, so that's good. Before it was black. So we could see it was overfilled a little bit. So we're gonna leave it just like this. I'm not gonna drain it all the way. It's better to have a little bit more than a little less. Now it can't be too overfull because then you could run into issues. Okay. So we're gonna leave it at that just because that's what we got out of it. We got out of it 5.5. I put in 5.5. So that's the level that I was set at the factory. So that's good right there. We're gonna go ahead and put everything back together. The plug, that bolt that I pulled out, clean everything real well, and we're gonna go for a test drive, and that should be it. So stay tuned for the test drive. All right, so here we are on the test drive, and she is driving beautifully. No issues of any kind. So this service was successful. We don't have no issues, no nothing. It seems to be getting all the gears perfectly. Sometimes when you service a transmission, especially these older vehicles, American namely, for some reason American cars are #1 culprits. They sometimes tend to start slipping, and that's normally because the transmission was already on its way out. We just kind of helped it by removing the old transmission fluid that was helping it apply the gears. We removed it, put fresh fluid in there. Now it can't build up the pressure or whatever the case may be to engage the clutches. That's why a lot of shops, once they get a certain mileage, they don't want to touch them. They said no, because no shop wants to eat a transmission, especially when all they did was just change the fluid and all of a sudden it's slipping. It's nothing they did. It was just kind of on its way out. They just kind of nudged it by changing the fluid. And most customers aren't going to understand that. So what they're going to want to do is have the shop put a new transmission in there on their dime. And since no shop wants to eat that, nobody wants to touch them. So that's why I like to start these services early. That way it cuts down on a lot of that stuff. Will I guarantee that it's not gonna have a transmission issue in the future? No, nothing is guaranteed in life. But at least if you service it regularly and correctly, you should, in theory, you should prolong the life of the unit. So there's a lot of reasons why they're stretching these services out. I'm not going to get into that in this video. Might be a topic for another video at another time. Leave me your comments and let me know if you want to hear about them, and we'll discuss those topics at a later date. But either way, here we are. The transmission is perfectly, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you found it informative. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so. If you have, thank you for your support. Again, guys, we'll catch you on the next video. Ciao for now.